Happy St. Martin's Day. I was trying to find a really good video to react to today, and I found this one here. And on the thumbnail, it says, "The celebration of St. Martin explained, the Netherlands, told by a born and raised Dutch local." Now, the interesting part to me is the name of the video and, of course, the thumbnail combined reminds me of Halloween. Okay. This video is titled, "Why You Need to Give Dutch Children Candies on the 11th of November." And then right here, we're seeing jack-o'-lantern type stuff. Not only jack-o'-lanterns, because there's maple leaves, whatever, but like the little lantern glowing thing. That is quintessential Halloween-ish here. Maybe not so much the maple leaf, but the jack-o'-lantern for sure. So this video immediately caught my eye. And the channel is called Visiting the Dutch Countryside. Thanks for watching with me. Links will be in the description section down below for this. And we're going to learn about St. Martin's Day, guys. Happy St. Martin's Day.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's new video at Visiting the Dutch Countryside. For the ones who are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Manon and I am Dutch, and at Visiting the Dutch Countryside you'll be exploring the Netherlands beyond the crowds, basically. And also learn a lot about the country.
Nice.
So this week's video is going to be about the Sint Maarten holiday. It's one of my favorite traditions. It's not held all throughout the country, it's held in certain regions. And my region is one of those.
Oh, certain regions. I wonder, so is it like a religious thing? Does it have religious roots then? Because like certain regions of the Netherlands are more Catholic, right? And then other regions of the Netherlands would be more like Protestant or something, another Lutheran maybe. I don't know for sure, just not Catholic, right? Another denomination. So I wonder if it has anything to do with that.
So basically, very short summary is that we make these kind of lanterns at school, at primary school, because it's this main festivity for the young kids. And then you'll go from door to door with your little lights in them and sing some songs, special Sint Maarten songs.
Okay.
And get candies.
Okay, so the thing with Halloween here, which of course this is not Halloween, it's just, it reminded me of Halloween. And of course, Halloween is also probably celebrated in the Netherlands as well. It might be a separate holiday. I don't know for sure, to be honest with you, but here in the United States, that's all I can go by as the American reaction, reacting to the video. Trick or treat here, you don't really sing. You just go trick or treat, and then you get your candy. And then sometimes people go in like TP houses and stuff like that for like the trick part, I guess. But it's not really a trick. And I learned with the history of Halloween. I got a video, a reaction I did recently about that. That started because back in the day when you didn't, so the homeowner, the person at the door, would either do a trick for you or give you a treat. Nowadays, the trick is just phased out, right? It's just a treat. But back then, if you didn't get either one, then that's when they would turn around and then essentially vandalize the houses, TPing them, throwing eggs, soap the windows, whatever. And that part's kind of basically phased out. I mean, of course, you got some delinquents that go out there and still vandalize, but it's not so much vandalizing. It's just, TPing houses with toilet paper. I don't know if you know what TPing is, but you take toilet paper, throw it over the houses, the trees, and all that kind of stuff. And it's a mess to clean up. But yeah, interesting. Back to the video.
So yeah, it was my favorite time. It's always held on the 11th of November, and in this week's video, you will learn more about this tradition and discover why it is celebrated the way it is, where it is celebrated, all the fun stuff. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe with a little notification bell so you do not miss out on any of my other upcoming videos. You can also join me on my Patreon, linked in my bio. Big thank you if you do that. And let's head into the video.
Head into the video. Visiting the Dutch countryside.
Sint Maarten is one of the many holidays that we have in the Netherlands, which is celebrated every 11th of November, and it is said that it has old Roman and Germanic roots. Saint Martin was a Roman soldier that was baptized as an adult and became a bishop, even though he didn't want to, but more about that in another part of this video. So this holiday is named after him.
Okay, so that's probably why it's only certain regions in the Netherlands, because if my memory calls me correctly, like if I'm remembering correctly, right? Parts of the Netherlands is at the edge of where the Roman Empire was, which would be probably the more southern regions. I know Maastricht or like the other, I can't remember, Valkenburg, I think maybe those areas was part of the Roman Empire, and then perhaps the far southwest-ish area. I just know it wasn't the whole of the Netherlands, right? It wasn't the whole. So probably in the parts that was former Roman Empire areas, I would assume.
First things first, who was Sint Maarten exactly? So Sint Maarten, which is the Dutch name obviously, his real name was Martinus, who was born in nowadays Hungary in the year 316. His parents were Romans and pagans, and Martinus became one of the patriarchs of Christianity in Roman Gaul, which was a large part of Western Europe. One night, Martinus met a beggar at the city gate of the French city of Amiens, who was shivering in the cold. Martinus cut half of his mantle and gave it to the poor man. At night, Martinus dreamed that the beggar was Jesus Christ. This didn't come out of nowhere, as Martinus was already interested in Christianity for quite a while. So after that dream, he left the Roman army and became a devoted Christian, and he was very loved by the poor and got a lot of followers. And the French city of Tours was searching for a new bishop. His followers knew the perfect one, of course, Martinus. According to a legend, Martinus didn't really want to become a bishop, but preferred to travel to convert people. I would prefer to travel too, without the converting people part. But his followers insisted. When they wanted to bring him to the church in Tours, Martinus fled. And he hid in a shed with geese, which was pretty stupid if you ask me, because geese make an awful lot of noise when there's a stranger in their area. So his followers...
Martinez wasn't the... I mean, but, can't say he wasn't smart or anything, because, like, maybe he just didn't have a choice, right? I mean, there's people chasing you, whatever, you're trying to hide, you're going to hide wherever you get a chance to hide, So he dipped in there, and it just happened to be a barn full of geese or something, I mean, you can't, it's not the guy's fault. He's just trying to get away, right?
Found Martinez, and he then became the Bishop of Tours. Martinez...
So they just found him and forced him. They're like, all right, you don't have a choice, guy. You're our bishop now. So it's like, what do you do? I guess, right? Like, you can't run. They're just going to drag you back, it seems like. That's craziness.
Died on the 8th of November 397 and buried 3 days later in the Basilica of Tours.
Okay, 3 days later, today, November 11th. Okay, so that's the celebration.
Soon after he was buried, people started to honor him. So Sint Maarten is celebrated on the day when Marinus of Tours was buried, the 11th of November, the day that he essentially entered heaven, which is seen as a pretty great day, and worth celebrating.
Now, is anything celebrated on the 8th of November as well, or is that just, what happened on the 8th of November, nothing celebrated, but then on the 11th, of course, today, and then that's when you do your celebration. Is that how it is?
But like I previously stated, it is expected that it is a combination of Germanic and Christian celebrations, but according to researchers, there's not a whole lot of proof for that. James Fraser, who is a Scottish anthropologist, thinks that the Sint Maarten festivity is of pagan origin. Carrying the fire is a pre-Christianity fertility ritual which was widespread in Western Europe. This pagan ritual was taken over by the church to win the trust of the people, but other researchers think that this is not the case and that the festivity was introduced by the church.
It could have been both. I mean, it could have been like, because a lot of stuff has pagan roots. And just like that Origins of Halloween reaction video that I did recently on Halloween. And it even mentioned St. Martin's Day, as being one of the things that kind of came together to form Halloween, because you had, all the immigrants in, like, for instance, New York City, right? You got the Scottish, the Irish, the English, the Germans, the Dutch, whatever, right? They're all just kind of like living together now. You got the Dutch, for instance, celebrating St. Martin's, November 11th over there doing the candy thing and lighting lanterns. Well, then you got other people, the Irish and the Scots doing their own thing around that time, because everybody a lot of cultures had some sort of a celebration at this time of year when it, you know, the end of like fall, summer, you know, and then boom, start of like winter, right? Which is now winter's here. That's why I'm, you know, it's cold in here. But anyways, so yeah, St. Martin's was part of what morphed into Halloween here, because they took all these kind of celebrations that everybody's doing around that kind of time frame, and then it just kind of merged into this one thing called Halloween and stuff. So, but with the St. Martin's thing, I'm pretty sure I mean, I can't guarantee, of course, I'm not a historian, I haven't looked at the facts. But there's a good chance that there is a lot of the pagan roots. Then, of course, you got the Christians that moved in and then applied their own thing to it, and it kind of like morphed and combined into what it is now. And then, of course, over the years, it's changed and stuff, because what they're doing now in 2025 for St. Martin's, when you guys are watching this video, isn't what they did 200 years ago, 300 years, whatever, right? So things change, things evolve over time.
Sint Maarten used to be a festival for the poor. They got some extra food and drinks from the rich and richer people, most often things like sugar beets or bread. They would also
this is the part that was mentioned, one of the things that was mentioned in that video. You guys should just go check out that Origins of Halloween reaction, actually. It's not really relevant anymore, it's past that point, but it kind of is a little bit, right?
Also burn big fires. And like I previously said, it is also coincided with the time of harvest, which was heavily celebrated by Germanic people. Yeah. The produce was harvested before the cold arrived, and people ate and drank a lot. It was also the time when the lease was paid and the staff was hired again, and when the first wine also had matured, which is always worth celebrating if you ask me. Centuries ago, people in the Netherlands and other countries where they celebrated often used to eat Sint Maarten's ganzen, or St. Martin's geese. The reason for that is because the geese were the symbol of St. Martin. He hid in a pen with geese when people wanted him to become a bishop, but he was reluctant. But the sound of the geese betrayed him. In 1631, the city council of Groningen...
So the sound of the geese betrayed him. So everybody's like, you know what? We're just going to eat geese that day. We're going to eat the geese, because screw that geese. It betrayed this guy. We're going to eat the geese. Okay, so Council of Groningen forbade people from eating goose.
But the sound of the geese betrayed him. In 1631, the city council of Groningen forbade people from eating a goose for Sint Maarten. In the 19th century, most people didn't eat goose anymore. In the Groningen province, for instance, they only ate goose in the town of Westerwolde that day. Around the 11th of November...
Are you eating geese today? Shame on you.
Ganzenmarkten or geese markets are still held nowadays, which is a remnant of old Sint Maarten celebrations.
Okay.
Sint Martinus lopen or St. Martin's walking slowly changed from a begging tour to a festivity and folk tradition over time.
Like I said, things evolve, things change over time. It's not going to be the same as what they were doing a few hundred years ago.
At the end of the 18th century, people started to walk with a self-made lampion or lantern. These were first made from fodder beads or some sort of root, but later on more and more kids used to make paper lanterns. A lot of school children walked along the doors and got fruit or even money. But nowadays kids usually get candies after singing a song about Sint Maarten, and there used to be processions, but those rarely take place anymore. Only in the beginning of the 1900s the celebrations became more popular under other layers of the population. During the Second World War, the German occupiers forbade any street lights, and cars and bikes could only have a little light. And houses had to have heavy curtains so the light would stay inside. They did this to prevent Allied airplanes from being able to navigate via lit up cities.
And I bet the Dutch people hated that, because you guys love to keep your windows, your curtains open all the time, right? Like you don't even care to shut them. I bet that sucked. You guys had to be like all private and stuff, like close your windows. Dutch people don't do that. I mean, some people do, sure. It's not like a standard thing that every single Dutch, you know, is going to have the curtains open, but like, it seems like a common thing in these videos that I watch.
So Sint Maarten was celebrated indoors, often inside classrooms. Nowadays, the idea around Sint Maarten is, of course, nothing like it used to be. People do not walk because they need to be able to get food, and most people walk for Sint Maarten, but do not really associate it with religion anymore. It has truly turned into a children's festivity for every kid, no matter their beliefs. But
if you don't walk, so there's not the walking around, going door to door, getting candy anymore. Is that not part of it no more? Right? Because if you're not walking around, if you're just doing it indoors, then that part's not a thing anymore, is it?
But it has changed to only kids, unfortunately for me. So this is also why fruit.
Same with Halloween, for the most part. Like, it would be weird for me to go up to the door and get candy. Of course, I go with my son. I walked with him. And I put on a Batman mask. He had the whole costume with the cape and the outfit and the whole 9 yards. I had the mask, but I walked around with him and stuff. But it'd be weird if I was just like, trick or treat, give me some candy too. Which, I'm not going to complain. I want some free candy, it'd be nice, but.
Fruit, bread, drinks, and money were changed to candies instead. On the evening of the 11th of November.
But the thing about that is we're just actually rotting kids' teeth. We're just, shove a bunch of candy down your throat and. Instead of bread. Bread's healthier. Love some bread.
Drinks and money were changed to candies instead.
Like money too.
On the evening of the 11th of November, as soon as it gets dark, children that are in primary school go door to door. The little ones go under parental supervision, but the older ones generally do not. And they go with earlier handcrafted lanterns.
Okay, yeah, so they still do the thing. So every other so they do the door to door. The rest of the celebrations are inside, I guess. So after the door-to-door, you go back inside. Don't be lingering out in the yard or the lawn, the garden, whatever you call it over there.
Lanterns made of hollowed beet or voederbieten, which were big beets used to feed cattle, which my dad used to do and use.
Yeah, this is interesting because it's like this is some of the stuff that actually helped turn Halloween into Halloween, but yet this is still over there and its own separate thing, still going strong. It's so interesting.
When he was a kid, and more recently paper handcrafted lanterns with a little light in them. And only after singing songs, the kids get to receive candy in return. And sometimes also fruit, but we generally dislike the people who gave us fruits because we're there for the candies. It is not entirely sure why the lights in these lanterns are there, but there's a legend that the animal Sint Maarten drove had run away in the evening and helpful villagers went searching for the animal with lights.
What's the witch for though? Because to me, that looks Halloween. I mean, there's a witch riding a broom. Right?
And others say that the lights in the lanterns remind us of the Sint Maarten fires and the torches that the people used to bring to go from door to door. So in a lot of Sint Maarten songs you will hear kids sing about light and fire. So nowadays there are some parades all throughout the Netherlands for Sint Maarten, and there are a couple places that still have the Sint Maarten fires, but not many. In the city of Utrecht, celebrating Sint Maarten was forbidden after the Reformation in 1580.
Who did that? What they forbid it for?
But after the Second World War, schools especially started to stimulate the celebration of Sint Maarten again, and it worked.
They're like, you know what? Screw you guys. We're going to do it anyways. Just went through World War II, and we're going to do what we want. We don't need your rules.
It's interesting to see how every region was in that matter, because while we don't know exactly how it was celebrated earlier, as it was a tradition for peasants and only the stories of the true elites were written down, of course. Walking during Sint Maarten was never forbidden in the Groningen region. It seemed like people always thought it was an innocent children's celebration or poor celebration. And the Protestant leaders very much disapproved of the Catholic faith and especially celebrations, but they didn't really do anything about it there. Another reason for the fact that walking during Sint Maarten after the Reformation was not strictly forbidden in most places despite its Catholic origin is probably because it was also used as a social function. Less fortunate people went to the richer neighbors and villagers. During the 17th and 18th century in Groningen there were no general regulations against the old Catholic traditions, including the celebration of Sint Maarten.
So it has nothing to do with the Roman occupied area then, because I don't think Groningen was even in the spot that the Romans occupied. Did they go that far up? It just has something to do with the Catholic part of the Roman Catholic part of it then, more than likely. If somebody could explain that to me and everybody else in the comment section down there, that would be amazing. Thank you very much.
Regulations against the old Catholic traditions, including the celebration of Sint Maarten, but it was forbidden to serve the traditional Sint Maarten goose. So in the Netherlands, Sint Maarten is generally celebrated in several different regions. It's generally celebrated all over the provinces of Limburg, Groningen, Friesland, Drenthe, Noord-Brabant, and parts of Noord-Holland, including the West-Friesland, which is where I'm from. And
so hold on, so Limburg, Groningen, Friesland, Drenthe, Noord-Brabant. So why is it so random? Because isn't Overijssel in the middle? Groningen and Friesland is in the top right. I think Drenthe's under that, right? Brabant's on the bottom left, kind of to the left of Limburg there. And you got North Holland, which is like in a, I don't know, 11 o'clock region on the clock, like 11 o'clock ish. I don't know.
And parts of Noord-Holland, including the West-Friesland, which is where I'm from.
West Friesland, North Holland, West Friesland. Is that the part that's just on this side of the IJsselmeer or the Osseldijk highway thing that's like on the other side of where Friesland is now, but like back in the day was part of Friesland?
And Kennemerland regions. Reasons why we don't celebrate Sint Maarten everywhere in the country are said to be religion and history. Sint Maarten was a knight from Pannonia, a province in the Roman Empire, and is mainly connected to Catholicism. When one was Catholic, they wouldn't celebrate Protestant celebrations, and the other way around. It is also celebrated in a few parts in Zuid-Holland, Zeeland, Gelderland, Flevoland, and Overijssel, but not.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, so, but why not as major? That's weird.
Nothing as major as in other regions.
Because, I mean, Flevoland makes sense because that's new. Although that means nothing because your traditions, when you move into Flevoland from whatever province that you're coming from, you know, you could just bring your traditions with you. But I could see how they could fizzle out. Overijssel is directly south of that. So that's right in the middle of, like, you know, you got Groningen and Drenthe and Flevoland. And then then over here you got Limburg and Brabant and North Holland, and then they were talking about Utrecht. Overijssel's, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Overijssel was right in the middle of those. So why the gap? If it's there and there, why not in the middle, right? I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing here.
In recent years, though, the lantern processions have become more widespread as a popular ritual, even in Protestant areas in the Netherlands, because the connection to the faith is small nowadays.
Well, but yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of, I mean, religion, you know, it's there, you know, but just like everywhere else, it's starting to, you know, there's a lot of people that's kind of drifting away from like being like the diehard religious. Like myself, I'm agnostic, you know, I see, you know, I see that there's value in religion, you know what I'm saying? But I don't dedicate myself to one specific one. You know, I feel like I'd be a hypocrite by saying that, you know, if this is the one true religion, then a roundabout way, I'm kind of saying like all the rest of them are not true. And, you know, I can't validate that. I wasn't there when none of this stuff was made, kind of thing. So I just kind of take points from all of it, right? That makes sense. Plus, you know, you got the Bible. How many religions are based off the Bible? It's one book, and you got 1,000 different interpretations of it. That don't make sense to me. How you got 1,000 different rule sets, all based on the same set of rules. It's just all based on interpretation. So, like, the religious part to me, it's a whole thing. It's not a religious channel. I'm not trying to start that discussion necessarily. So we're just gonna push play and ignore I said all that, I guess.
Always that easy because Sint Maarten hasn't been a religious holiday for quite a while now. So currently whether people celebrate it or not depends on, of course, their regional traditions, but also because some people take over old habits and holidays because they read about it.
And other people just do it because it's fun, right? They see other people going around, walking around with lanterns, getting free candy, and they're like, hey, I want to be part of this. I want to get some free candy. I want to make a lantern. That looks cool. That looks fun. I want to be part of that.
In the beginning of the 20th century, folk festivals like Sint Maarten were having a harder time as Christmas and Sinterklaas became more important, and because of that, quite some folk festivals in the Netherlands were slowly going extinct.
Yeah, but Santa Claus and Christmas is like another month away, right? December. Wait, when is Santa Claus? Oh, I should know this. I've done reactions on Santa Claus before, and I'm probably going to be finding another one here soon to do. Early December sometime, 10th, something. I don't know. It's probably not December 10th, but I feel like it's closer to that than the end of the month. Let me know down there. Tell me how wrong I am, I guess.
But Sint Maarten has turned it around in some areas where it was celebrated less. In Amsterdam, for instance, Sint Maarten wasn't celebrated anymore, but in the 2000s it was started again, and now it is very normal for kids in Amsterdam to walk around the city with their lanterns with lights and sing for candies.
Cool. What city are we looking at? Is this Amsterdam? I think it is, because Utrecht would have the double layer canal thing with the stores down next to the canal level, and then a sidewalk kind of walkway above that, I think. I mean, it could be Harlem or somewhere else too, though. I don't know.
So yeah, if you're living in the Netherlands, please make sure to have candies in your house this evening. Thank you so much for watching this week's video.
Yeah, get those candies in your house, guys. Hand them out to those childrens. They're going to be coming to your door. They're going to be singing. They're going to be bringing those lanterns.
About the Sint Maarten tradition in the Netherlands. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it.
I did, actually.
If you live in the Netherlands, or I don't know, you're renting a house on a regular pedestrian street, you know, and it's the 11th of November and you're living in one of the areas where it's celebrated, please have some candies in your house, because it's very, very rude, in my opinion, if you do not do it. There are also some people that sometimes hide for the kids, and that's just weird. Just let the kids enjoy it, seriously. But the least you can do is just put, I don't know, a basket with candies outside, and then they'll just grab one. That's all. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this week's video.
All right, yeah. Make sure you got those candies. Don't be rude, like she said. And I put a comment down here that says, good video, happy St. Martin's Dag. I don't know if I pronounced that right or if I spelled it right or however, but hey, I mean, I dropped that comment. So anyways, happy St. Martin's Day, or how is she pronouncing it? Like St. Marta. I always forget the N is more like a silent thing. So anyways, you guys have fun with your festivities. Enjoy it. If you don't celebrate it, well, there's a ton of my videos you can go and watch instead, I guess. So while everybody else is out celebrating. So you guys have a super fun, awesome day. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.